We are live. Peace, love, and grace to everyone, to my Vibe Tribe. So much gratitude to the Most High, gratitude to my ancestors, and to Spirit for sharing this space with a very special guest tonight, guys. And of all days, on a full moon in Taurus, during Scorpio season in conjunct with Uranus, you know that the Mooniverse is going to be on fire tonight, guys. But guys, I want to introduce to you Gabriel, aka Slick Dissident. Gabriel, and I'm going to say his name in English and in Spanish because that's just how I do, guys. Okay. Gabriel, not only is he a radiant embodiment of the divine masculine. And he honestly really does inspire and uplift everyone who, who really comes into contact with him. And y'all that have, you already know what I'm talking about, right? So Gabriel, not only is he an amazing, loving father to a beautiful girl, he's a musician, a martial artist. I'm looking at my notes, guys. You know how I do. I want to get this right. He's a musician, a martial artist, a massage therapist, not only, and amongst so many other things, Gabriel has a profound understanding of the Enneagram and a very unique perspective on the tarot, which, right, guys, you know, that's what I do. And he meshes them in such a way that is so unique. And I hope we touch on that tonight. But honestly, Gabriel, bienvenido. Welcome to the Mooniverse. How did we get here? How did this happen? How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, give thanks and praise. I'm so happy to be here, Moonfeather. You're so gracious to ask me to come on. And thank you for that lovely introduction. Yes, I do have a very loving relationship with the synchromistic net that we all dance so wonderfully in. We have such a beautiful community. And I love that I can accentuate the people around me. You know, when I was in basketball, really into basketball, I had kind of this Magic Johnson style. I think Magic Johnson really sums up what I bring to the ball courts, and that is that I tend to get a lot of attention, but I also exalt the elements that I'm working with as best I can. And Magic Johnson had this thing where he'd get all the attention, and while everybody's looking at him, the ball would just disappear and it would reappear in somebody else's hands in some mysterious mystery pass. He was the sleight of hand pass master. And that's my style. That is my style. I love making superstars out of the other fellas on the court, or ladies, actually. In pickup ball, I love having the ladies on my team.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful, which it just shows that you work really well. Your energy works really well with others. And in order, right, that tells me that you really know how to read the energy and you're very conscious of other people as well, which that's so wonderful. And you have the community, which by the way, I think we've known each other or known of each other for about like what, maybe a year now, or at least as long as the round table has been on. Shout out to the shaman Franklin out in South Africa, right? For about a year.
Yes, big time. Big love, Franklin. Yeah, he totally
Yes.
brought our communities together, and I'm so glad he did. Yeah, so anybody who hasn't seen the roundtable events on Saturdays, we go live and we go almost all day because, you know, our boy, he's all the way in Africa. So
That's right.
we are transcending time and space in very potent ways when we have the round table. So, and
Yes.
another fascinating thing, he named it the round table before he invited me, but I see the Enneagram is very correspondent to
Mm.
the council of the round table.
Very true. Yes. That's so true. I'm extremely grateful as well for him creating the roundtable. We've made so many connections with other wonderful people in the spiritual community. So I am so grateful to that. So grateful for that. Um, so Gabe, before I open up the space, uh, I would love to first give people a little look into how spirit works first with me, which is going to lead to why I invited you today to the show. So, I always love to show people how spirit works through me and how it helps me to connect with other people like yourself, and how these synchronicities are just so telling of the connection you have with other people and of the time that we're living in, right? And before I do, just to reiterate, like I always do in my shows, and for anyone who is watching, I don't make these videos to try to sway anyone's opinion or perspective in any particular way. It's I love how spirit talks to me, and I just put it out there, and and I hope that it can inspire other people to do the same, because we all have something that we could share that could absolutely bless someone else, right?
Totally.
So, okay. So here we go. And I'm going to be reading it from notes because I have to guide myself because there's so much going on here, guys. Do you know how I do? So ever since October, there's been this buildup of energies that has been really pointing my focus towards November. And I even mentioned it on one of my videos, either in September or October. And I was like, guys, I don't know what it is, but there's something about November. I just can't put my finger on it. But, we shall see, I guess, And I'm like, okay, bye. And then that's it. Because that's how because that's how I am, right? Like, and for anyone who's watching the show for the first time, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Moonfeather. I read the tarot. I just purely work on spirit. I'm very intuitive. I read energy, and but I don't do this 24/7. It might be happening within me 24/7, but I'm a single mom. I have 6 children. 3 out of the 6 are still going to school. I run businesses. I work. I'm out here. I'm hustling. I'm minding my own business, but when spirit talks to me and say, okay, we're going to put this to the side for a second, and I need you to tell people this and do that. So I'm just obedient, and this is what I do, right? And I always say that I'm not an astrologer, but I study astrology as I'm going along this path on my spiritual path. And I always tell people, hey, I'll teach you as I learn as well, right? So, okay. So perfect. And it always proves itself with the synchronicities, which is always so wild, right? So anyway, little did I know that spirit was drawing my attention to November, and there were already so many events that were gonna take place in November, and I had no idea, right? And as we got closer, I start getting hit with the crazy downloads, and seeing certain number sequences, and not only matching it with the things that are happening in my own personal life, but also things that are happening out in the world as well. And then I go and I put out like these crazy decodes. Like in September, I did a decode on Cat Williams because he did an interview earlier in the year on the
Oh.
Shay Shay where it was wild. I decoded his medallion. I also, and because he went, he went crazy. Like he was out, you know what I'm saying? He really did um hail the end of where, like, the end of celebrity worship was, that's it was done for 2024, so I did a decode on him, and
Wow.
he's an 11 life path, by the way. So if I start saying numbers, just take that as a clue. So he's an 11 life path, right? And then I also did two decodes on Elon Musk, right? One in September and the other one just a few weeks ago before elections, right? He's and in one of them, in my last one, I dubbed him the Prince of the Air, like in Ephesians. What is it? Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. And now look at now how he's taken the stage, as an elect
Hmm.
by Trump. You know, he is a life path number 7.
Oh yeah.
But he also, his name also reduces to the number 9 as well, right? Which is
Mhm.
part of my title for the show, right? I said the Ennea decode, right? And what was it? Oh, and the timeline shift, right? And he has this fascination. I also stated how he has this fascination for the letter X. So he has X, which is formerly Twitter, SpaceX, and XAI, which is a lot of people don't know about. They're not talking about it a lot. It's his supercomputer, right?
Hmm.
And which I think it's very ominous that they're really not talking too much about this supercomputer. But I decoded in the video that I did, and the name of his XAI computer is called Colossus of Rhodes.
Yes.
So, right, we spoke about that Colossus of Rhodes, which, by the way, Colossus of Rhodes represents the sun god, looks like the freaking Statue of Liberty. He is one of 7 wonders of the ancient world, Colossus. But anyway, so I think he's personally in the video, I say that I think he's using this AI computer to tap into powers of the old gods or into entities, right? Because he actually placed in a very strategic place. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Now everything that I just touched on, let me show you how number syncs have been on fire of late. And I had to write down these number syncs to show you guys, because if you guys are anything like me, I'm dyslexic. So, I need visuals. I need visuals. So let me just show you a little bit. And then with this, I'm going to end. I'm going to give the floor to you, Gabriel. And but I just want to show people how these synchronicities have been showing up in with number frequencies, right? So let me take out my professional board.
Nice conversion chart.
On my profession, because we're professional around here. So if you guys could see that, right? So
Nice.
hold on. So okay, so I have to look at the dang book. All right. So the number 7 has been coming out, right? Because I said Elon is a number 7. This number 7 is a very tricky number. It shows up in many different ways, but very secretly, right? So we have the number 9 has been showing up a lot, right? So we're saying that um this is an energy that is extremely powerful. Okay. We have the number 10, which shows up as the Roman numeral X for me. And this is what I'm saying. This is how I see it. It shows up as the Roman numeral X, right? And it also represents the Wheel of Fortune as the major arcana. But just as I said, Elon Musk is obsessed with the letter X. So whenever I see X, I do see the number 10. And then 11, of course, it's been so emphatic. The number 11 has really been showing up, but I also see it as the Gemini, right? As a Gemini symbol. And then
Good
of
call.
course, I'm sorry?
Good call. Yeah, people
Yeah.
miss that detail a lot. Yeah, the Roman
Hmm?
numeral II. Great call.
Right. Thank you. And then of course, I've been seeing this number a lot, 911. right? And then of course these numbers right here, 310, 111, we know that's been showing up like crazy. And November 1st was the new moon in Scorpio, which really kicked off all of these strong number syncs, right? And then we have 1011, 1101, and then of course the everything led up and exploded for me on the 1111 portal. And this was after you and I really connected and was like, all right, let's do this, right? And then I don't know if anyone is aware, but on the 10th of November, there was a huge sun flare right before the 1111 portal. And I saw the second to last video that Slick had posted, and he spoke about EMP right after this had occurred. So this is why I say these connections and these synchronicities match us up, because we pick up on the energy that's working out, externally, but it's also working internally within us, right? And it was actually the EMP was they rated it, I think it was a 9.49, which was pretty high, M class. Okay, and of course we see this number a lot here for November, number 45 and 47. Right? We know who's 45 and 47. This was a huge event that just happened. And if people understand the energy, right? This is Trump basically, right?
Yep.
And this reduces to 9 and 11. I'm sure people have already decoded that, right?
Yes.
And also November 5th was election, right? Which was 11.5, which reduces to 7. We know that, for me, I instantly saw Musk, I saw Elon, so Trump was voted in, and then Trump brought in Elon, right? Which, by the way, has anybody seen the video of Elon wearing the black MAGA hat?
I haven't seen the video, but I've seen little clips of him.
And what he said?
What did he say?
All right, I'm going to take a pause right here. And I'm going to show this. I'm going to share it to you. I already have it on standby. I'm glad you asked, Gabe. I'm glad you asked. Let me share this screen. Give me a second. Here we go. Now pay attention to what he said. I'm going to replay this.
Elon Musk! Oh! I'm not just MAGA. I'm dark, gothic MAGA. Well, the energy in this room is incredible. All government spending is taxation. So whether it's direct taxation or all government spending, it either becomes inflation or it's direct taxation. Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that. America's just not just going to be great. America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing.
Wow.
You guys are awesome. Honestly, this is like...
Oh my gosh.
Do you see that? All right. So I want to just play it. So what he said was, not only is he MAGA. All right, let me stop sharing. Here we go. Let me wait. Are we back on? You and I are back on? Let me just check. Give me a second. Yes, there we go. So not only did he say, I'm not only MAGA, I'm dark MAGA, right? So I look at MAGA like magician, magia, so that was huge code right there, and of course with everything, I don't know if you guys did also see the news, he was elected by Trump along with Vivek to be in charge of the Department of government efficiency, DOGE, Doge. And we know it has exploded ever since Trump came onto the scene. Crypto has really, really, really exploded. And the reason why I say the number 9 has been very, very has been sticking out like crazy, because I think we are already in the energy of 2025. That's why I put that here. The number 2025, because the number 2025 reduces to the number 9.
That's
It
what's
is the
up.
year of the snake. So it's, it's very, very symbolic, shedding, renewal.
Yeah.
It means just just the shedding of that skin and like renewal, so you could use that for whatever energy you want to use it for. This is why I say everybody's path is different. And the last one, I promise, it's AI, because we were talking about AI. But then if nobody ever looked at it, AI also reduces to the number 10, which is why I said he loves X's. And I said, it's not an X, it's a 10,
Right.
but anyway, and reduces to the number 1, so forth and so on. So
This is beautiful. Yeah. So much
yeah.
to weave on. So X, AI, X is a Roman numeral 10, reduces to a 1. And
Mm-hmm.
then A is a 1 and I is a 9. So XAI is actually spelling 911 in reverse, 119.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. And
I gotta write that down.
of course, this is the gadfly of the conspiracy gnosis. When we hear 911, even on the subliminal, a certain level of mania, a certain associative buzz, really, it's like a frequency has been hit in the air. All of our associative spidey senses are dialed to the max because we are in a very receptive web. EMP attack is Twilight speak for empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And so we of the empathetic lifestyle, we pick up on these little signs and signals. And I want to, and one thing, I love how the mystery keeps us interested and dialed into the messaging. But and I feel bad if I dismiss it or say it is merely this. And when you make a knowledge claim, people think that they're done learning. That's not my jam.
Mm-hmm.
But I will share that the 911th prime number, 911, let me say this perfectly. 911 is the 156th prime number. And 156 spells in ordinal reduce, my favorite gematria, the most simple of them all. 156 spells SEX. This is sex magic. And the reason why everything is sex magic is because sex is magic. And
Whoa.
so all of the 911 buzzing and getting our flock of geese to in a tizzy, all of our alarm bells are going off. The geese are the symbol of alarm. It has a great deal to do with how the fear response of an alarm or something dangerous is also neurologically very correspondent to our arousal response. And in so many ways, if you think about when I was young, you'd take ladies to scary movies. And then afterwards, you hope that they come to you for comfort. So you can be the hero that makes them feel safe at night, And if they have
Yeah.
nightmares, they're going to tell you about the nightmares and you can soothe their concerns, that kind of thing. It's really beautiful. But when it gets into the globe theater, it does get legitimately scary. It
Mm-hmm.
magnifies to an degree. When I was a kid, I actually took I took 6 sisters. They were not Amish, but they were of the Amish proclivity. I took them to see Dusk Till Dawn because I thought it was a cops and robbers movie. I had no idea what was going to happen.
You were so wrong.
It was like a practical joke on me that I took all these sisters to see Dusk Till Dawn, and then it turned into that. And I actually had to apologize to their parents because
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
That is,
but that's kind of the hazard of pretending when you go into the theater. You know, you agree to the terms of in conditions, and then afterwards there's no buyer's remorse. You can't put it back or return it.
that's right. Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly.
so yes, the 9/11 is rooted in sex magic, but sex magic is in fact rooted within itself in a fascinating and beautiful way. And that is kind of where the mirror of it is what you make of it comes into play. You know, some people have a fear response to these arousals. Other people get hungry. I don't know. You know, everybody has a different,
Mhm.
yeah,
Response to it.
uh,
Yep.
is wired a little different. So, yeah, sex and 9/11 are fundamentally intrinsic. And of course, with 9/11, we know about the Crowley's imprint onto the 9/11 ritual. So, of course, it has to be sex magic so that it's so shameful you would never talk about it to your friends or family, or it would never circulate in public because we don't talk about sex in public. We don't talk about Aleister Crowley and sex magic in public, you know? So, yeah, there's something in the subliminal that is kind of self occulting in that shame of sexuality that is, you know, a bit of an inheritance, let's say.
Right. Right. That's listen, that's amazing. First of all, thank you for sharing that little decode there. And we could see why, or at least now I could see why sex was shamed or sex magic is shamed, because first of all, it's meant to be very sacred, and it's very powerful, and it's supposed to be shared. Well, if we're talking about, right, the union of two people, it's supposed to be shared by people, by a couple that are really trying to tap into spirituality, you know but this world has perverse that, and they've done it through media, just as you're saying, they do it through media, because God forbid, if you have two very high spiritually enlightened people that come together in union, right? Oh, mountains will be moved, magic will happen. This is why they've broken up homes, they've broken up relationships to prevent that from happening. Because listen, all of this would have been over a long time ago. This 3D, in a sense, all of it would have been over if just maybe a third of society really did get together as couples and practice that wonderful exchange of energy. It's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. And you know, I have a real fun theory about Elon and Vivek. Is that it? Am I saying it right? Vivek?
Vivek, yeah,
Vivek.
Vivek,
Okay.
whatever. It's okay.
Okay. So I recently learned that I had known for a while that the word Elon, E-L-A with a funky line over it, some French umlaut, but not an umlaut. I don't know what it's called. N, E-L-A-N with a fancy A.
Mhm,
This in most dictionary definitions, it kind of means fancy faced is a real simple way to say it. Um,
mhm,
but it turns out in literary circles, they have another term, and I think they're drawing on an author who used it specifically in this context, but I don't know. I'm just listening to some high-minded literary heads kind of uh, jive about the word Elon. And they're not talking about Elon Musk. They're talking about this word, this French word Elon, and they see it as defined as Dionysian vigor, or no, excuse me, Dionysian vitality. which is kind of synonymous with vigor. Vigor is an anagram for Virgo.
Right.
But Dionysian vitality. I kind of like vigor better. I kind of want to finagle it, put my own spin on it, because vigor and Virgo are intrinsic. Virgo is when the harvest comes in. She has a wine barrel, the Crater constellation. So the harvest in the vats of wine at the harvest are all happening in Virgo. But anyway, Dionysian vitality is his name, and is what Elon means in literary circles. And now I'm looking at Elon as kind of an inside word for Dionysian vitality, and that's really potent. And one more little footnote from history. Clay Shaw is the only fella who was persecuted for JFK's murder. And Clay Shaw was kind of a outright spy, maybe double, triple agent in New Orleans. And he was on the record in New Orleans describing JFK and trying to say, hey, I would never kill this guy. I thought he was great. And some of the words he used to kind of demonstrate his admiration for JFK. He said, I find JFK to be very Elon and also capable. And he goes on in the sentence, but he uses the fancy French word for Dionysian vitality. And for those in the know who are real geeks like me with the Greek epics, what he's saying is that when we watch JFK die, we were participating in a cannibalistic consuming of the Dionysian ritual. And so by taking in the JFK event over and over, people play that back and to the left, back and to the left.
He's up, down, in every direction.
Right. Back and to the left is Notoricon for battle. BATTL. Back and to the left. Battle. And if you saw JFK, did you see that with Kevin Costner? The film.
Oh my gosh, that was so long ago. I can't even remember it. Wow, that's a good one. I gotta rewatch that one.
Yeah, it's fascinating. He plays it over and over because he's trying to he's trying to make a bias in the jury. He wants it to be extra raw to them. So he makes them watch it over and over, and he says back and to the left. And so that's kind of one of the that's an artifact from the JFK files in our cultural history. So, and it spells battle, BATTL.
That's wild.
So yeah, Elon and Dionysian vitality, and JFK was a Dionysian communion of a what could be considered what do they call it? It's a sacred conspiracy. A sacred conspiracy is what the fallen ones on Mount Hermon partook of when they said, okay, if we're going against God, everybody's in it together. We're all in on this together. We all share the liability equally. None of us gets to point at the other one and single them out for blame. And I think this is inventing blackmail culture, really, but also a great many other rights that we still adhere to in policies today, the sacred conspiracy. So yeah, that's what I see with Elon. And then I'm thinking about Vivek. And just recently I've been kind of because something, this is going to be hard to be brief. So to kind of bring people very shorthand description of my path here is I discovered that the Enneagram is a very powerful implement for completing a hermetically sealed hero's journey. That there are elements to the hero's journey that are not as linear as people would want them to be. And in fact, there is a lot of dynamic paradigm interplay in a hermetically sealed story or myth. And in fact, here's a great little research nugget for folks. Michael Goldstein has some videos about the Odyssey is actually walking through every station of of Odysseus's adventure is going backwards through the Enneagram, starting at number 9. And he goes around, and one of his last stops before he gets home, he ends on the number 1. And then when he goes home, he's kind of going to the center of the Enneagram, and everything is brought to conclusion. It's beautiful that the Odyssey is the Enneagram in reverse, because I've had a theory before I even knew about Michael Goldstein that the Iliad is the Enneagram going forward in order. So, and a lot of folks will tell you that the Iliad is masculine, and it's gruesome. It's a lot of blood and guts and gore and over descriptions of horror. But then the Odyssey is kind of feminine, and it's his return home. He's going back to his goddess, to his queen, who's been holding out the fort with heavy wisdom. And so, I love that the Enneagram might be embedded into the epics from the ancient of days. So with that in mind, that this thing is more ancient and more potent and more significant than most people would ever imagine, I went ahead and I ran the Enneagram through Plato's Symposium. And it's a group of 7 sages, much like kind of a synchromystic cornerstone of a great many cultures is the 7 sages. They're sitting around in a circle and they're talking about love. And then some random interloper comes in and divides up the party. And what is really fun is any number divided by 7 brings forward the dynamics of the Enneagram, this beautiful heptad of the 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, any a number divided by 7, except for 7 itself. So, my work with the Plato Symposium has brought out not just the personalities of the sages of the symposium. I discovered the 9 muses hiding over their shoulders.
Ooh.
And they are not explicitly put out for the world to see. They are hiding in the public. And so a lot of people, I think, through history have been like, oh, it's the patriarchy. Look at Plato Symposium. It's a bunch of guys. They even kick the girls out of the room. They say the serving lady, she can take her flute and go play indoors with her flute. They're being really flippant and kind of dismissive of the feminine. And so I see that a lot of untrained eyes would say that this is masculine dominance over culture at large. But what really redeems it for me is knowing that there is a divine feminine over every one of those fellas' shoulders. There's a muse for each, and they are speaking their truth in such beautiful and fascinating ways. So I've discovered the 9 muses as they sit in the bedrock cornerstone of culture at large in Plato's Symposium, and I also mapped them onto the Enneagram. And I said this would go ahead. You got something to say?
No, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so this is it's been a real long adventure, but these are the cliff notes, and they're pretty fun. So then I have the 9 muses. I'm getting down with the 9 muses. I got them downloaded, uploaded, side loaded. They're all over the place. They're still here. They're immortal as could be. It's just beautiful. And then I discovered the Devis of India. There are 9 Devis of India. And these Devis are celebrated 4 times a year. There's a holiday for the 9 Devis of India, and it's called Navaratri. And
Wow.
Navaratri is an anagram for the narrative. And so this story, this narrative, this festival, this commemoration of these divine feminine essences, it happens 4 times a year on these Navaratri cycles that are lunar. They're lunar. They're so beautifully feminine. And I think there's something really powerful to think about, what you think was the patriarchy was protecting the feminine. They were protecting the divine feminine. And so that's a dirty job. They went all this time with all this projection that the patriarchy is to blame. But the patriarchy, every real potent patriarch has a real master matriarch that is informing his soul, So that's kind of the lesson I've been trying to dance with in my project. So the 9 Devis, I've got the 9 Devis figured out. And sure enough, they've been, ever since I got to know them, they've been popping up too, just like the muses in similar and fascinating ways. And recently it dawns on, or it comes across my radar, that India has the highest population in the world. They just exceeded China.
Mhm.
And that is
Yep.
so meaningful to me. And it also vindicates the project that I had to go past the Greeks. And what is the essence of the muses that they were drawing upon? And let me say this. I believe that the 9 muses of the symposium is actually a map of the Library of Alexandria.
Ooh.
Because the Library of Alexandria is a misnomer. Its real
Mm.
essence was it was a museum. First and foremost, if you're going to build a city, the first thing you do is you put your muses in. So yes, I believe that this Symposium Enneagram Muse revelation is giving us a map of the hallway of Alexandria, because each hallway is a different technology. The first one is rhetoric. The first hallway is rhetoric. The next hallway is history. And the third hallway after that is medicine. And the fourth
Mhm.
hallway is comedy. In the fourth hallway, it was tragedy. Sixth hallway would be erotica. That would be
Mhm.
the grown-up section. You need an ID to get in hallway number
Yeah,
6.
exactly. The 18 and over section.
And let's not deny, look how sexy this shape is. I mean, look how sexy that shape is. It's literally saying, come here. Look, I'm saying, like, this is the number 6, and I'm come here. It's very provocative, the number 6, you know.
Right.
Number 7th hallway is uh, mm, I think science at large. It's Calliope. She's the matriarch. She's the oldest sister. She's probably the most uh, illustrious. There's because of the power of the number 7. You know, she has a real magic significance. Number 7. And the 8th hallway would be gymnasia, acrobatics. A dancer. Terpsichore is the 8th muse. 9th muse is Urania, the muse of geometry and um, space, stars, astronomy. So yeah, I've got the hallway of Alexandria. Okay, so then I find the Davies, and I got to just say, and I find out that India has more people than anybody. So the psychic potency of drumming on the Davies has more rubber meeting the road than any other religion. You
Mhm.
know, that is potent. So I'm looking at Vivek, and I'm looking at Elon. If you know about the Davies, there is this acrimony, a dichotomy. There's an intrinsic dichotomy, and that is that the Yashuras are on one side. You could say, like, the perimeter of India, they venerate the Yashuras and think the Davies are bad. But if you're from the Indian or the Hindu perspective, then the Davies are good and the Yashuras are bad. And I'm looking at Elon and Vivek, and I'm looking at this false dichotomy of the Ashuras versus the Davies. And I'm just thinking about phonetically, a great amount of these ancient energies are in our language, and we take them for granted. We walk on by every day. We walk by magic so much. I'm thinking
That's
about,
right. That's
yeah,
right.
I'm thinking about the word assertive. And to be assertive and to stand in sovereignty and to hold to your truth is something of a treatise between the Yashuras and the Davies, and to know what a false dichotomy is, and maybe to be your own uh, assurance. You
Mm.
are self-assured that you can stand in sovereignty and hold your ground on your righteousness. And so I'm looking at Yashuras, I'm looking at Davies, I'm looking at Assertiva. Um, And I'm looking at Elon and Vivek, and I'm thinking about the energies of the Ashuras versus the Davies. Because some people
Mm.
in extremist groups, people who take this stuff way too serious, they really do try to paint the Ashuras as white or pale or something of an Aryan uh, uh, valor, a valorizing of what is Aryan seems
Mhm.
to the Ashuras. And the Davies are maybe a little more Indian, a little more brown, darker skinned, uh, tropical, you know, more tropical blood. So yeah, I love this theory that maybe Vivek and Elon are uh, m- uh, a meeting of these antipodes getting along, and let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. That's
Right.
how
Well,
it seems now, but
we're
it
gonna
might,
see how that unfolds.
yeah, they might put that wedge in there and press those buttons and hit the strings to get people's blood boiling. That might be the plan.
Right. And but do you see how the energy of the energy that I first presented with all of these numbers, and I haven't even run Vivek's numbers yet. I swear I haven't. I'm sure I would find something interesting, but how it plays on a larger scale on a larger scale as well, also internally, and uh oh, and I wanted to comment because and guys, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I watch I watched Slick's second to last video, right? And then I was just like looking, and I've seen his other videos, and he has all this wonderful work back there, which is so masterful. It's amazing. I love it when people show their work. They don't only talk, but they show their work. Because I'm about to show, I'm about show and tell, right? And so I've seen the shape of this Enneagram in books that I read, right? That I skim through like this, right? And I was like, you know what? Let me look into this, right? And do a little homework before I get on the show, right? So that I can have something to talk about. But anyway, I found some crazy synchronicities. So I realized that the Enneagram really does embody the number 9. And this is what you just finished saying, right? It totally embodies the number 9. So you were talking about the 9 muses and how you found it hidden within the Enneagram. And okay, so try to follow me. I didn't even draw it, man. Okay, but anyway, so the Enneagram, when I saw the picture of it, I like when I was looking for it online. Let me get my marker, because I draw this. Where are you, marker? Here you go. Guys, we're live, okay? So so when I saw a shape of the Enneagram, the first thing I saw was the triangle in the middle, because it has a principle and it has a 369. And everybody knows about the 369, right? Right? So, and by the way, if you add up 369, it still comes down to reduces to 9.
Right? It's so magic.
Right? Okay. So when I saw the shape, I saw this online, right? I said, oh, Enneagram. Okay, bet. So I was like, oh, but wait a minute. What's the numerical value of E? And I was like, oh shit, sorry. But the numerical value of E is 5, right? If we're going by gematria, is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Right? It's 5. But then if you also see that, this is why we got to look at the hidden. If you turn the E down this way, M, right?
Whoa, yeah.
And the M is the numerical value of 40, but it's 4. And if you add that up, it's a 9, right?
Whoa, look at that.
Right? Right? Okay. So
the Enneagram starts with an E and ends with the M. I love it.
Guys, listen, guys. And we haven't even listened. Okay.
I love it. Also, Enneagram sums to 42, which is the answer of the universe and everything. And also Symposium sums to a 42, the number for the universe, answer to the universe and everything.
Right. So 42, when you reduce it, it's 6. That's just an upside down 9.
Dang. Skill.
Okay. I'm trying. But anyway, if you go around the Enneagram, right? Because you said it's numbered it starts with the number 9, which is very interesting. I did a show where I gave a how would I say, I showed people how to do their own sigil by using like a dial that's like the old dial, number, like it's from 1 to 9. Well, 0. The old phone numbers have 0. But anyway, from
Oh,
1
yeah.
to 9. But so when I looked at the Enneagram, I was like, oh, wow, it really caught my attention. Because if you add up, hold on. If the Enneagram is split with a triangle, right, and it groups the numbers, each of the groups in those numbers add up to 9. So I was like, okay, this is huge, right? So I was like, okay, and this definitely, I would love to share with you, because you touched on Elon, you touched on the Enneagram and EMP back to back, and I want to show you how when you did your second to last show, how you were talking about all the same things, and they all radiated the same energy and the same number frequency. And let me just hold on. Let me go here. Let me just share what I'm talking about, right? Did I look up what was the numeric value of Enneagram? I did. And it came out to the number 9. Like if you punch Enneagram in the gematria calculator, the number, she reduces to the number 9.
That's awesome.
Okay. So let me go here. Let me just ask you. Okay. So before I start that, so as I'm looking at Gabe's chart while he's in the video, guys, I'm looking at it, and I'm a person that I see patterns, right? So I see in that Enneagram, right, that he has behind him at this distance, to me, it looks like there's a face in the middle, like a goddess face, and then the crown right over it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever spoken about that, but I saw it immediately, right? So I
Yeah.
thought about, oh, a goddess. Okay, why did I think of Medusa? I don't know why, but I'll tell you why, because Spirit showed me why. I thought of Medusa, but I also thought of Jesus Christ, right, with the crown and everything, right? So check this out. Check this out, what I found in that alone. Let me share the screen. Give me a second. I got it here. I clipped the please tell me that I downloaded it, for the love of Jesus. Hold on. Let's see. Let me go here. Oh, I know what I did. Give me a second. Dag nabbit. Did I? Give me a second, guys.
Here, I'm going to show something while you're looking.
Yeah, go ahead. Please do. Please do.
This is kind of something I've never really buzzed on. So I'm glad you mentioned the E weave of the Enneagram. And that is that there is kind of a pentagram in here. And this is not a perfect Enneagram, but if you consider, it's almost a pentagram. My triangle might need adjusting to bring it out. But
yeah, I see it. Yeah, I totally see it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A nice flat bottom floor. So there is a beautiful pentagram hiding in here. And at the moment, while we are down in November right now, in the month of 11, it has the word ember in it. Basically, remember is kind of obvious. But while we're down in November, we're having a full moon tonight up in Taurus. And in Taurus, there is what is called Auriga, the charioteer constellation, and it is a beautiful pentagram shape. And Auriga has a goat over his shoulder. Capilla, it's I think one of the brightest stars, 6th brightest star. So you put a goat in a pentagram, and you get a symbol that a lot of people make a big deal about. The Baphomet in the pentagram, but also you have the pentagon, the shape of the building of the pentagon that was scapegoated so long ago.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And remember that even though in the Gregorian calendar, November is, the 11th month, November is a secret 9, noviembre.
Thank you. Wow, it's the 9 and the 11 is right here in this month.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
power.
right. Listen, it's wild. It's wild. Okay. Anyway, listen, it's gonna take a while for me to download, but I'm just gonna read it off the screen here. Okay.
Cool.
I'm just gonna read it off this. Oh, wait a minute. I can share my screen even if it's my email. Give me a second.
Right on.
I'll make this work, guys.
Nice. So one thing I've learned about, I've been studying the meteor shower cycles, and I have them mapped out really potently. And it turns
Mhm.
out November is packed with meteor showers. I think I could say there are the most meteor showers in time, like the most frequent, like boom, bam,
Mhm.
they were like right on top of each other. So for this to be the month of betrayal, the Scorpio striking itself, there's a lot of
Mhm.
acrimony around the scorpionic energy. And also, I was talking on my channel about any blood that drips off the end of the tail sting, the Scorpio's stinger, or the tip of Sagittarius's arrow. They're both
Mhm.
pointing Ophiuchus pharmakia at his heel. If his heel bleeds one drop of blood, it drops onto our altar, which is a constellation that is like a sacred table or the Magi's table or the workstation,
Oh,
or
mantel. Wow, that's wild.
a sacrificial altar. So yeah, there's so many meteor showers, and it just seems to really substantiate the kiss of betrayal, the Judas Iscariot, the Ophiuchus, the Pharmakia, all the sacrificial energy. There's so many meteor showers this month. So I just want to put that out.
No, listen, that's beautiful. First of all, um, today is the beginning of the Leonid meteor shower. Shout out to Ronan for reminding me of that today. I remembered and I clipped it last week, but I'm all over the place. So that's a shower. And listen, guys, let me tell you something. We did not plan all of these wonderful things happening to get on the show on a day that is so powerful. I was like, I just skimmed energies with Slick on Franklin's show on Saturday, and then Spirit was like, get him on the show. I was like, okay, I hit you up, like, let's do it. And I was like, give me some days. Oh, this isn't enough. I was like, all right, Friday, and then we talk. We get on the phone on Wednesday, and you're like, what date is it Friday? I was like, I don't know. I just know it's Friday, So he looked it up. 15th. After we spoke, find out it's a freaking full moon in Taurus with Uranus, which, by the way, you spoke about Uranus in your second to last show, okay? And then a meteor shower today. So guys, make a huge wish today, because that's what I look when I see meteor showers, shooting stars. Make a wish. It's amazing. It's amazing. But let me share this here with you. Thank you for that. It's like, thank you. Okay, here we go. Boom. Can y'all see that? It'll show up in a second. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So, boom. So I looked up Medusa, right? Because I was like, oh, Medusa popped up in my head when I saw the Enneagram, right? So here we go. It reduces, like, her numbers reduced to 6, 9. Here you go, 9 as well. So
Wow.
that's amazing. And then Jesus as well. Here you have 13. That's 4, 4, 8, 12. This is 11, also reduces to 11. But look at the names, because in this gematria calculator, they match the name with other sentences or phrases that have the same energy, right? So I'm
Yep.
going down the line here, and this all has to do with seeing synchronicities with the video, with the time that we're in, so forth and so on. So here I said the name DNA and the soul of Christ, which it's how did I make that connection? I don't know why I underlined that, but I know I made that connection. I think I heard you talk about DNA in one of your shows. In the second to last show, I can't remember. So I highlighted the Yeshu Christ because you were talking about the Yeshuras. Yeshuras. I was like,
Right.
okay, bet. So I keep on reformat the matrix. And I was like, okay, you did mention you were talking about the matrix on that day for this show. And I'm just making these connections because this is how spirit draws me to connect with people and say, hey, you're onto something, or just, whatever. Okay. So let me go. Okay. So this is the real interesting one right here. Okay.
Whoa.
The Pythagorean, let me see if I get this right. Pythagorean gematria, which, by the way, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I never heard about this freaking gematria. Let me look it up. And this is what led to me to decode the E and the M into 9. And I was like,
Beautiful.
oh, beautiful. I was like, okay, bet. Let me see if I highlighted anything else here.
Yes.
Also,
Get
on that
out of
show,
town.
okay, so
Wow.
coronavirus, we were talking about the CDC in that show. You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that's wild. I was like, okay, show me more, spirit. So I did not know this was just for me. I did not know that Divine Sophia also is correlates with the name Jesus, which is wild to me. It's
Yeah.
wild because I really do love the the study of this occult study of the Divine Sophia, and I'm getting into it little by little. And and listen, you're talking about a Christian woman that was brought up Catholic. You can't, everything is like, oh, hallelujah and all that stuff. This is wild. When I started learning about the Gnostic texts and all of that stuff, it was, but everything made sense. Everything started like, really making sense. I had a lot of questions, and these questions were filling it up, and it was just wow. Anyway, so let's continue. So okay, so check this out. So anyone that would read this, American style, it would be Violetta, but I was like, no, that's Violeta,
Yeah.
and I was like Violeta. I was like purple, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Slick was talking about Christ, Jesus wearing the purple. What was it that
Garment.
you said?
The purple
Garment.
garment.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, guys, the reason why I point this out, as I said again, is the energy that we have that is displaying within also displays out in the cosmos. And I just feel that if you're on a spiritual walk, and everybody's walk is unique, like somehow this weaves into everything that you do too, and it's very telling in the time that you're in. And I think it's breadcrumbs that we leave ourselves and say, hey, you are on the right path to knowing who you are, to enlightenment and getting back to source, and so forth and so on. So I was like, okay, so Violeta, Violet, I love the color purple. I love it. Which my daughter's middle name is Lila. Lila is another form of purple, right? Her name is Hannah Lila. So anyway, I don't know if you guys saw the intro that I made, the video that I made, the song that I put with
That was so fire. That was so fire. Jimi Hendrix?
Jimi Hendrix, purple haze. And I was like, God, really? But guys, this is how this works with me, right? So I was like, okay, I told Slick, I'm gonna do a promo, this and that, whatever. Okay, bad girlfriend, this and that, whatever. Okay, bye. And I hear a song. This is so wild. I hear a song, and I was like, because I need a music. Because guys, if you don't know, I do all of my content. I create it. I do content creation, and I'm for hire too. So, but anyway, if anybody wants to know, but I hear a song, and I was like, I need a song for that. And I hear it. It's like, what is that song? Why do I hear it? And it's bugging me. I don't know what it is. So I'm just like, is that a Jimi Hendrix song? I was like, what? I was like, okay, let me go down the list of stuff, the names. I don't listen to Jimi Hendrix. I love Jimi Hendrix, right? His music and stuff like that. But I was like, oh, let me see Purple Haze. Click, boom, that was the song. And I was like, Spirit, really? Really? You know what I did? Look, y'all, because I can't. Where is this man? Where is this man? Give me a second.
One thing that syncretizes to so potently is my last video. I was talking about NEWS, Northeast, West, and South, and
News.
how,
That's right.
and when I do martial arts, I'm actually drawing in the evocations of the four directions, and in some people's mystical systems, they call those the four towers, the four directions, and
Really.
even the word. So I was joking about, well, only kind of joking about Kabbalah, NEWS, net
Kabbalah.
network is a fascinating name. It has the net, but if you also double the T at the end, you get twerk, but that has the tower in it. The net
Mm.
tower, and K is an 11. So
Yes, that's right. That's right.
yes, so the Kabbalah News Net Tower K definitely has a great amount to do with these watchers, right? And it's kind of in the mystic arts. It's the question is, are you the watcher or are the
Oh Lord,
watchers?
have mercy. The watchtower. Yeah.
You got it. Yeah. So that was a humdinger that you drew on Jimmy for that. Thank you. That was so complimentary.
And the 12, but check this out. So I was like, really, Spirit? So we looked up I looked up Jimi Hendrix. I looked up his first of all, he's a Sagittarius, and we're
Ooh,
coming
yeah.
on to Sagittarius.
A
His
sage.
birthday, listen, Jimi Hendrix is right here with us right now. He's channeling through us. His birthday is on the 27th of this month.
Give thanks and praise.
Okay.
I love
So,
it. He's a
so he was,
sage guitarius.
but check this out. So he was born 11/27, 1942. That makes him a 9 life path.
Wow.
All right. So check this out. Then
Ooh.
he was born in November, which that's he's a Sagittarius Sagittarius is the 9th zodiac sign. 9th. Okay.
Wow.
Do you want to guess what animal he is in the Chinese astrology?
Snake?
No, he's a horse.
Oh, that
So
was my first guess.
he's a water horse. So he embodies the number 9, and he embodies Sagittarius because he's a centaur.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Totally.
so I was like, did I just channel Jimi Hendrix? I was like, okay, thank you, Spirit.
Give thanks. Give thanks. That's so beautiful.
So it's crazy. It's crazy.
So Sagittarius, the constellation, is a really fascinating shape to it, because when I envision the Sagittarian horse,
Mhm.
I love to fashion my Sagittarius looking back over its own body. It has
Mm.
potent hindsight, and this is Scythian. This is Scythian techne. The Scythians ride well and shoot straight, and they are the last enemy that you want to chase because they shoot with deadly accuracy backwards. They can hit you while you're chasing them
That's right. Because they're
with
like this,
amazing.
they can run forward, but then they go.
Yep, they can get you in the reverse shot, and there is a lot of wisdom still alive in the arts of the Mongols. Some of those the lady foot archerers are absolutely fascinating, that they can actually go up on a horse mount in a handstand and
Love it.
shoot with amazing accuracy. This
I've
is the
seen those videos.
Yes, this is the techne of the Scythians, and Scythians invented pants. That's pretty fun. And thinking about Mike Pants in retroflexion, there's much to be garnered there. But
What?
they invented pants, and they looked strange to the new eye, to the Greeks who wear robes all the time. And
That's
so
right.
in a fun way, in that time, it would be a common accusation from the Greek lens to say, look at these people who have snake legs. They have serpent legs because they wear pants, and you can actually see their 2 legs when they walk for the first time. So the fashion statement between the Scythians and the Greeks is the birthplace of a race of people who are serpent legged, and their genes are different. They have different
Wow.
genetics. So yeah, a lot of knowledge right there in that symbol of Sagittarius. Uh,
Oh,
and,
that is
and, and,
wild.
and just above him is Ophiuchus. He is correspondent to Orpheus. And if Ophiuchus reaches his hand out, there's a harp. And that harp is the lyre. And this is the name of my daughter. And
Oh my gosh,
it
that is amazing. Oh my god, that is wild. That
the
is
Ly-
wild.
yes, the Lyra constellation, it is the guitar. This is the largest alpha guitar of any guitar you ever thought of. And it's also the Cathara harp is another word for it. There's a lot of the Catholic gnosis
Mhm.
baked into that word. But I just love pointing out that Sagittarius isn't necessarily always shooting to kill. Sometimes he's playing those strings. He's pulling strings
Oh wow,
in
that's
a
great. I
yeah.
love it. That's
He's a
amazing. That's amazing.
he's romantic. He's not a fighter. He's a lover.
He's a lover. Well, Cupid's arrow. Well, isn't what Cupid's arrow? You know, he's. I mean, come on now. But guys,
Sagitta. There's a constellation for a little Cupid's arrow right next to Lyra. You're right on it.
really,
Yeah,
guys,
Sagitta's right there.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. But I did know that there is a Cupid's a constellation. I didn't know that, but I didn't know it was next to Lyra. That's wild. I'm gonna be looking close at that. Trust me. Trust me. But guys, just to continue here really quick, I was doing the Medusa, you know, in the gematria, and it reduces to sun, right? It also matches up with sun with Solomon, which by the way, I looked at the word Solomon, and Solomon has, which by the way, it showed up in our chat when we were talking. Solomon, when you sent me the Doctor Strange meme, but Solomon has the name sun in it twice. I just we got Sol, which is sun, and Amun, Amun Ra. So that was wild. But then Medusa comes out to Musk as well. These were all the connection I was finding when I just looked at the Enneagram alone, which was
Wow.
wild, you know.
That is
So
that is potent. Yeah. So Musk and Palestine right on top of each other. I just want to point out to people, Palestine is a
you just said Palestine, and look what
well,
I just pulled up in Medusa. Go ahead.
I am Christ. Yes.
No, it's You see Palestine right above I am Christ.
Right. Right.
You just said it, and I just pulled it up. But go ahead.
Yes.
Instant sync, guys. But go
Yes.
ahead. What were you saying about Palestine?
Yes. Palestine is a twilight word of the utmost significance. Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena is her full name, and she wears uh the adage of Pallas is the best friend of hers that she accidentally killed in a mock battle. They were supposed to be sparring, and Athena trips, and Pallas is about to strike her, and Zeus interferes because his daughter's about to lose, and Poseidon's daughter is about to win. And so
Mm.
Zeus shakes the Aegis. That Pallas has dark history with the Aegis, and so he actually drums on her personal trauma to break her concentration. And Athena doesn't realize that she's had her friend is not paying attention, and Athena counterstrikes and kills her best friend on accident, and it's her dad's fault for interfering. And
Oh
so,
wow.
and so Pallas Athena and Palestine, there is deeper wisdom beyond my words here. I just want to I want to bring the twilight language into the light of day, because making the word Pallas Athena something to seed vitriol around, it's a controversial word. It has been for generations. And really, what is happening is we are fomenting vitriol around the essence of wisdom. Pallas Athena is number one on the Enneagram. She is the perfectionist, the reformer with the shadow of wrath. And also the Palestine flag on all the campuses, and all the kids turning that into a symbol to get irate or get the manias of the frenzies fomented. The word Palestine flag is also hiding a very sacred rite that has been abandoned for too long. We're going to bring it out from the dustbin of mystic potential. Placentophagy. Placentophagy and Palestine flag are almost the same word. And
Wow.
placentophagy is a very sacred transmission of the full estate of the child that is only, in my opinion, it is only meant for the mother to commune upon the placenta, to instill the stem cells and the T cells and all of the healing onto the child through her breast milk. It should not, in my opinion, be maybe even touched by anybody else. It should only go to the mother to transmit onto the child. And if you do that 7 generations, I think you'll have yourself an avatar in your hand. 7th son of the 7th son. So yeah, the placentophagy and the vitriol around the Palestine flag is absolutely, I think it's paramount. I think they're showing us the remedy right in plain sight.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for that, Gabe. It's amazing that you just mentioned right now the placenta, because you had posted some blotch pictures in that's what I call them, some blotch pictures, right? You
The
posted them
Rorschach,
the what?
the Rorschach test.
Okay, right, exactly. I always forget the name. So you have posted them in Telegram, but then you also did touch on them in your video, right? So I said, why am I'm looking at this? Because there's one in particular. Actually, I think all of them do when I really looked at it. But there's one in particular, right? There's one in particular that has a shape, and then there's a red blotch right in the middle. I said, why does that look like a uterus to me? I'm just saying in the picture, said it looked like a uterus. And I said, and then if you guys look at the promo that I did for the show, I had announced that it's going to be a full moon in Taurus, and I have a skull of a bull on there. And I swear, if you go look at these pictures that Gabe posted, it looks like one of them looks like the skull of a bull. So I'm just saying, I just wanted to mention that because I remembered the pictures, and it was another synchronicity that I had with a lot of the things that you posted in your video and in your Telegram.
Yes, yes. It's so fun being in this community. It's that we're all parallel to we're all lateral thinkers, and
Right.
thereby we are all parallel to one another. And we harmonize so well that we are all
I love
lateral
that.
thinkers, making up our own song in our own measure. One thing I want to, before it slides off my memory,
Yes.
there's a great discovery around the story of Moses lifting the serpent to heal the Israelites from the stinging asps.
That's right.
Yes, and as you mentioned, that November really means 9. And I mentioned that this is the time of the heaviest barrage of meteor showers is right now. And it's actually been going for the past month. Let's just say the entire fall into the winter is just saturated with rapid fire meteor showers. And so November, like you said, really means 9 in its essence. And so 9 harmonizes to Teth in the Hebrew math. Teth means serpent. And so 9 is at the top of my Enneagram. So we're lifting up a serpent, a bit of a Teth up here. And then another thing I discovered, and this is really advanced, maybe is one way to say it, is that the 9th prime number is 23. 23 in me.
Yes.
In Greek, the word for the 23 or the 23rd letter is phi, personal health information, PHI. So the personal health information of phi is up on the top of this Tau cross, the Teth cross with the serpent on top of it, and your personal health information is lifted up here onto the top of this Enneagram. And what is really wild is the 23rd constellation on a list that I'm partial to. It's called the IAU, International astronomer units.
Mm-hmm.
The 23rd constellation on that list is Serpens Caput, the head of the serpent. And so
Mm.
I have really gone highly fractal. I've gone to plaid on the many layers of meaning around this number 9 at the top. So yeah, 9, the 9th prime is 23. 23 is phi, your personal health information, and Serpens Caput, the head of the serpent, that Ophiuchus is holding Serpens Caput in his hands. So all of this is signified in the fact that we are in November right now. It is so powerful.
It really is. No, and it's crazy that you're even, that we're talking about the serpent, because I had said earlier in my intro that I feel that we're already in the energy of the year of the snake of 2025, which, by the way, in your video last night, you did mention the number 225, and then I passed out. I I was like, oh my gosh, 2025. He's talking about next year. Oh, okay. And then I knocked out. Um, can you elaborate a little bit more? Because I missed out on it. What were you talking about?
Absolutely. Let me share one more fun thing on the
Yes,
and
please do. Sorry.
no,
Yeah.
it's okay. This is all one big weave. So something else I've done in my ciphers is I've actually put the alphabet around the zodiac. And if you
Oh.
start in Aries with A at the spring equinox line,
Mhm.
every letter is 10 degrees around a circle. And when you get to the new year in between December and January, you're at the letter Z. So if you put the alphabet 270 degrees, 260 plus the the ampersand sign, you get 27 degrees, 270 degrees around the zodiac. I'm like, well, how do I complete the circle? And my buddy LC King, he did it for me. You need the numbers 1 through 10 completes the circle. So the alphabet A B C D E F to Z is a birth cycle on the zodiac. 270 degrees around the zodiac is a birth cycle for a baby. And then to close off the circle, the last season, the winter seasons, the season of coins or diamonds, you actually use 1 through 9 letters to complete it. And so on this cipher, 23 is the W, which puts us on Hercules in November. 23 puts us in November for and then 24 where we are in the year right now puts us at Ophiuchus, the X symbol. So strangely enough, 2025, we're going to click right across out of Scorpio in the 25th, the 250 degrees, the minor decan on my system, the letter Y is Lyra.
What?
Is
Wait.
Lyra. The Lyra constellation, just by the Slick Dissident systems. So yeah, next year is 2025. 25th letter is Y, and it lines up in the minor decans on my system that I've had for years now. It lines up. We're going from Ophiuchus to Lyra. And so, yes, 225 is the orbital period of Venus. And it's in her name. V is 22, E is 5, and NUS is the sun turned around. It takes 225 days to turn around the sun. It is encoded in her name, VE 225 NUS. You turn around the sun. So the Pythagoreans are really big on Venus. Everybody, if you're magically inclined at all, you better know some Venus. And so we are coming up on her magical year. Also, 15 squared is 225. And so we are on day 15 right now. There is
That's right.
much potency around Venus. This is the 15th card which is the devil card, and generally has so much pentagonal significance baked into it. This is the Thoth deck devil card.
The Thoth deck devil card.
Yep, the Thoth deck.
Ooh. Yes,
And
I've been wanting to get one of those decks, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But the death card, that's crazy because we're in Scorpio season. So,
it's the devil card, actually.
oh, the devil. Oh, I thought I
Devil.
had the death.
Good
My
catch.
bad.
Good catch. Good catch. So yeah, um, so yeah, 15 is super potent because you know, there were 15 million extra votes went missing this year. And also it's a whole nother rabbit trail to drag people down. But I have mapped the United States map with the zodiac, using the Mississippi as my solstice line. And then I use
Mm,
the Mason-Dixon, a 37-degree parallel, is my equinox line. And then I have mapped the zodiac on there and discovered that tarot cards, so many symbols of the tarot cards are reinforced by the names of the states, the logos of the states, the mascots of the football teams, the baseball teams, all the colleges. They're just reinforcing the scaffolding of the tarot cards onto the map of the United States
that's
subtly.
wild. Magic. It's all
It's
magic.
it's magic. And so, without dragging everybody through the 3 hours it would take to lock the whole claim into place, very soundly, it has no wiggle room at all. But the devil card is New Orleans. It's Louisiana. Louisiana purchase was $15 million. And so the 15 corporate heads still pat themselves on the back about the greatest purchase ever made in the history of humanity was the Louisiana purchase. Our buddy, Paranoid American, he's been up at corporate buildings, skyscrapers on the highest levels, and he says that they have murals with the maps of the Louisiana purchase as some sort of totem. So Louisiana is where the Super Bowl is going to be this year. In the 15, the devil card, it's going to be potent at the Caesar Stadium.
Wow.
So yeah, these are some of the synchromistic significances of Venus 225. Square root of 225 is 15. And here we come on the year 2025 in the Caesar Stadium. A whole lot of magic has been pre-established. How is that for Power Weave?
Listen, I think tonight, we definitely unintentionally, intentionally tapped into the most powerful divine feminine energy. Why? Because all the numbers we've been talking about, all the numbers that um Gabe has been touching on has been 9. If you add 225, it's 9. 6 is just an inverted 9. That's the divine masculine, the divine feminine. Okay. The freaking W in gematria is 9. Okay. And the 270 degree that you were talking about, the alphabet around this map, which is wow, that is so genius that you really thought of, and it's wild. But if you add that, that's a freaking 9. So you're really tapped into the divine feminine, Gabe. Like really, that's so beautiful to see because it shows in your work, you know. And if people don't understand it, damn it, understand it. You know, understand the energy at least.
I love it. I love it. Yes.
You know,
One thing I love about keeping the divine feminine in the context of this alphabet on the circle. Everybody thinks of 26 letters, but I always nudge it to 27 because do you remember in school how they had the alphabet up on the wall on that green paper? Was it green in your school? Was it green paper with the
it was,
alphabet?
yes, and it was like it was green, and then it was kind of like chalk style. And if it wasn't chalk style, then it was just like regular, right? Am I right?
Same.
Am I remembering correctly?
Same. Yes. This is the halo. They put it above your head like a halo and it circles around the wall. And so what I've done is I've taken the lessons from school and I have turned them into the zodiac. And we are in college now, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to college. We're going to learn some astrologoi. We're going to learn the sacred knuckle bones of astrology. And
Wow.
yeah, there's some potent reading in a lot of what I've put on offer. And one thing that's kind of fun, I made a t-shirt out of that cipher. I'm really stoked. I'm going to get one of my own t-shirts because it has I call it the Diction of Aries cipher. So yeah, the 307. Oh, but I forgot. Do you remember in your alphabet on the wall? Do you remember that it had the ampersand? They included the symbol for and. Do you remember that? A, B, C, D,
At the end?
after Z. Do you remember an ampersand added?
So it would X, Y, and Z?
It might have been before the Z even, because that's how we say it when we read it. They might have included it in the alphabet. It might have
That's
been
wild.
X, Y, and Z. They slipped in this extra letter, and everybody's saying that our alphabet's 26 letters. Were you paying attention in school? Did you miss a letter? Did you actually have 27 letters in front of your eyeballs? And
That's
they slipped one?
wild.
So yes, the ampersand and per se and is double speak. It's a subtext. There's so much. There's a clause here. There's a Santa Claus here. But I see it as a jug or a vessel or a vase or a container or an amphora. It is the amphora. The am per se and is an amphora. It is the sacred vessel, and it has a great deal to do with the divine feminine and the placenta. Yeah, that's pretty fun, isn't it?
That's wild. You know, you're really not off on, even though it's in the United States, the alphabet is 26 letter, but you're not off because in the Spanish alphabet, there is 27 letters. The and you said and, you were saying and, right? You were
Yes.
saying and? Okay, so this is the extra letter in Puerto Rico, is the Ennea. You know what the Ennea is? You should know.
Oh, yes. Here we go. Here we
La
go.
Ennea.
Give thanks and praise. Look at that beautiful letter.
That's like and, Ennea, and.
I
Boy,
love that letter.
don't
I love
stop.
that letter. So I made some graphics for the show tonight to really go overboard. You know, we've already laid it out with the meteor showers and the November and the 9 of it all, but I want some extra credit points. Can I share my screen?
Please do. Are you kidding me? Of course. Hold on. Let me how do I do this again? How do I have how can I have you share?
Take your time because I'm
All
not,
right.
but I'm going to click on share screen. It might put up a request.
Yes, right. It'll has to show up over here and then I'll put it up on the screen. Guys, shout out to everyone that's in the chat. You guys are so amazing. So much love to everyone here. Geez, Louise, thank you so much. Oh, Jesus, Louises, Aaron, Ronan, Mashari, Petri, Paul, George, Sigmash, oh my gosh, shout out, Jasness, oh my goodness, and of course to all of my Titi Mooney kids, Jasness, who else? Let me just go, PK, Aaron, yeah, guys, thank you so much for showing up. Yes, okay, I see now here. Oh, you guys are amazing, so amazing. Thank you so much for showing up. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys, please, and share if you wish. Okay, yes, can we see that good? Is that good?
Big respect, everybody. So glad you all made it. Yes. I'm not sure. Does it, I can't, when I share it I go blind a little, but does it look like I'm sharing?
It's on there. Yep, it's on there. It's on there. Go ahead.
All right. So as we are in Scorpio, we are at 180 degrees from Taurus. The royal star of Scorpio is Antares, and is an anagram for treason, but also Saturn. And the royal star, the 180 degree royal star opposite from us is Aldebaran, and that is the bullseye. And so the moon is moving through this very sacred asterism in the heavens through the next few days as it comes to fulfillment. Tonight is a very powerful conflagration of energies, a battle of the masculine versus the masculine, the brother on brother, the divine twin versus the divine twin, and the judgment of it all. Jake and Mike Tyson are duking it out as the moon is full in Taurus. So in where we are in time in Scorpio, we have Hercules, the hero, and he is known for determining the fates of man with the Urim and the Thummim. These are two stones of judgment. And there is a great amount of information that I'm not going to read word for word. I'm not going to spoon feed to anybody. But I have always pondered how many interpretations of this 50-50 split of the Urim and the Thummim, the black stone and the white stone, and the drawing of lots. And you could say that this is the primordial symbol for gambling. This is probably one of the oldest symbols for the gamblers. And in Greek astrology, they are really almost militant about people who are born in the spring and summer months. They are blessed somehow. But if you're born in the winter months, then somehow you are cursed. And so when they read your astrology, the first thing they want to know is, are you of the Urim, born in the spring or the summer, or are you of the Thummim? Are you of the dark times of year where the night has dominion? So that is that's a keystone to Greek astrology, and not everybody today buys into that, but the Greeks really were. I think they still are really hardcore, and some people take it to extremes. But what's beautiful, the Urim and the Thummim is also in Michael Wan's research. He has made a beautiful case for Herkimer diamonds are a very rare diamond. They are a double terminated diamond. They are their primary location is in Pennsylvania, under the Scranton covenant, the secret keepers. Scranton in reverse is not narcs. And Biden and Hillary are both from the coven of Scranton. And that is where the Herkimer diamonds are garnered. And
Whoa.
so you will notice that this asterism is a double terminated Herkimer diamond. So
The shape, but you're talking about the shape, right?
You got it, double terminated diamond. Does that resonate to you? Do you know what that looks like?
Absolutely. That's what I was like, you talk about diamonds. Ew. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, that looks like it right there.
This is the I think now here's the thing. Don't let Slick give you bad information, folks. Figure it out for yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Because as soon as I say that the Urim is the crystal, and then the Thummim might be a rare type of coal, anthracite coal, is on the other end of the Susquehanna River. On another arm of the Susquehanna River is the source for anthracite coal. It's a type of coal that burns but doesn't give off smoke. This could be the secret to how they light up the tunnels, but they don't have any char marks on the ceilings of the pyramids and other buildings, not just the pyramids, but this might be the secret to having fire underground that doesn't suffocate you in an enclosure. So my theory, I went on with Michael Wan years ago, and I told him that I think the Susquehanna River is a map of the Baphomet, and that one branch of the Susquehanna is pointing at the Herkimer diamond, that is the Salve, and that the other branch of the Susquehanna is pointing at the anthracite coal, that is the Coagula. And I think that the secret of John the Baptist and the Knights Templar was a map of the Susquehanna at large, and that the Urim and the Thummim are resourced at the foot of those two rivers, at the ends of the fingers of the Baphomet are the Urim and the Thummim. And with that in mind, keep in mind that Capilla, this star, is the mother goat on the back of Adriga the charioteer. And something came up in the YouTube around this constellation and the moon moving through it. They're trying to call this asterism that is on the map right now. This is called the winter hexagram. And they're trying to.
Yes, that's right.
They're trying to round out the stone. Hypochorism is rounding out and taking the edges off of words so that we no longer can sense their danger. We get too comfortable with pet words like overseer. And eventually, after civil wars, words get rounded out. And the next thing you know, everything that you consider safety is called the officer. Used to be an overseer, the man with the whip keeping you working, and now we call him an officer, and we're required to call him to save us. So the hypochorism of rounding out the edge, taking the edge off of potent truth. They're trying to change the word of this asterism. They want to call it the winter circle. They're trying to round out the edges of this asterism in the Great Reset. So,
Oh my goodness.
so I think
That's wild.
So I think everybody should resist the urge to acquiesce to calling this the winter circle, and we should keep it the winter hexagram. And I think the reason they want to do that is because everybody's like, it's the J's. If it's a hexagram, it must be the J's. But no, it's the Greeks, y'all. It's the Greeks. You got to look further. Got to go deeper. It's the Greeks. They're trying to round out the Greeks. So have you ever heard of this word? Moonfeather? Clearomancy?
Clearomancy. I can't even see it. It's so small. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I had to look into this, and I think this is basically casting of lots or the throwing of dice to determine outcomes. And in Greek,
Really?
yep, in Greek governance, there
I know the
were
action. I just don't know the word.
Yeah, the Greeks actually had really neat traditions around determining who would be the put into power in the state. They would literally get the best candidates and around in a circle. So they had to work to even make it into the group. But then from there, of the best candidates, they would leave it up to the fates to determine who gets the rank, and they would draw lots. And so you would draw, whoever
Draw
gets.
lots. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep. So yeah, this asterism has a great deal to do with the drawing of lots, gambling at large, and let's not forget that this was the first presidency that they were actually able to gamble. You could put your money where your mouth is on your opinion on the state.
You ain't lying about that.
Yes, sister.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. This is wild.
This
is
is
so. Go ahead.
this is what is happening tonight. The Urim and the Thummim, the black stone and the white stone, the brother on brother, the civil war, the divide, the house divided cannot stand. And I just want everybody to understand that, much like the word El in Latin means, has a divinity to it. It means the, but it also has this divinity. El means God. Well, the same thing happens in English, folks. The word the means Theo. So it is mystical, but it's mystical because it's overlooked. That El in Latin is has the divine. Also La, when you flip it, it's got the feminine divine, right? Well,
Right.
the same thing in English. Even the word the has the essence of Theo. Theo in Greek means racers, wanderers, or planets. But the word racer is really important because I think the word race, the presidential race, the race baiting, the rabbit hole chasing, when the dogs go running around the tracks, they're chasing the rabbit's hole. The rabbit is a dummy rabbit that they're chasing around in a circle to chase their own tail. So yeah, the word race is spring loaded, and people oversimplify it to a dark detrimental degree. But I do believe that on the world stage, because people oversimplify skin color as some sort of checkerboard false dichotomy, I think they have to keep true to their recipe, regardless of how colorblind you care to be or not. So, yeah, but it's not just that's the other thing here. like while people might get caught up on the first layer of, oh, it's a black dude and a white dude. Well, guess what? It's also an old dude versus a young dude, you know? It's also generational.
Absolutely. It's crazy, the build up for this, and I think if they were really holding off a little bit on this fight, but now I understand why, because the opposition, the ops or the opposition, which are what people call the powers that be, they do everything according to, astrology, numerology, everything is intentional, and the fact that you said that they want to change that particular uh shape of this diamond, of these constellations that all connect. I forgot the name of it because I got in my notes somewhere.
Yep. Asterism.
Okay, right. That they want to change it into a circle. It's wild because we're talking about Elon, and then I didn't mention that he also. Well, I did mention in the beginning. Like I dubbed him the Prince of the Air. Why? Because he has the most control of airspace with Starlink. So I'm like, well, they it's like they're up to something, and they're always trying to change the times to always hide things, hide the truth, and mostly hide the truth of who we are as well, because they can't uh um they can't risk that we wake up, what I'm saying, we learn the truth about them and about us. You know what I'm saying? So, but guys, as Slick had said, please, do your homework. We put this out here because spirit touches on us to put this energy out here and this information. But please, everyone definitely has to do their own homework. And but listen, synchronicities always confirms so much. Numbers don't lie. Energy doesn't lie. Numbers don't lie.
Big ups. Yes. I'd like to point out that today is the 15th. 1 + 5 gives you a 6, and it is a 6-pointed asterism. And also some other fun synchronistic correspondences. I hear that the odds on the bout is 4 to 7 or 7 to 4, and they just love all these things. Because
really 4 to 7, really
yes,
47,
you got it.
or 74.
Yes. So 47 is silver, 74 is wolfram, or also what is called tungsten, symbol signified by a W. But look at this. Even the First Samuel has mirror. 1441. This is kind of the signifying the harmony of the shape, the geometric perfection of the shape, but also it kind of signifies just the essence of a double terminated, the number is double terminated. It has a 1 and a 1 on the end. So yeah, there's a lot of mirror clues in the heavens. And then think about this, Moonfeather, like if you gambled on the presidential race, you could hedge your losses with this boxing match,
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to point out that there is a lot of, I think, false acrimony, or no, it's kayfabe. Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay.
So, all right. I think I'm back. Let me see.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I'm really excited about kayfabe, ladies and gentlemen. I have a lot to say about it. It's kind of got my name hanging out in there in a weird way.
Do you say kayfabe?
Kayfabe, I don't know how to spell it. I was never into wrestling as a child. I do my own wrestling.
He's a wrestler.
Well, no. Kayfabe is an energy that the wrestling industry depends on.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. This is kind of new. I'm still integrating it, and it is so meaningful. And I just don't want other people to take it for granted. that kayfabe is like false acrimony appearing real. It's where like two guys are actually they act like they hate each other. I think Paul stepped on Tyson's toe at the weigh-in, and so Tyson had to slap him in the face, right? So they had to get the kayfabe to get your blood pumping, so that you really believe that they're not hedging their own bets in that arena. Has to look like they're really in it to win it. Well, what's amazing is as the old wrestling paradigm that kayfabe comes from, fake wrestling, the old masks, luchadors. Plato was a luchador, Moonfeather. Plato was a
See,
luchador, and Plato is just his stage name. That's not his real name, Moonfeather.
what?
Yeah. And he is the guy that gave us Plato's Republic that all government is built on. The godfather of kayfabe himself, the godfather of the realm of forms, and the philosophical patriarch above all patriarchs, whose name is an anagram for Tolpa, Platotolpa.
Oh, yes, I've seen you pull out that book. Yes.
Yeah, well, he's a wrestler, and if anybody would know how to fake or give the false appearances to keep the masses believing that these guys at the top really hate each other, it would come
Right.
it would come out of the technology of his book and other books too. But I just find it fascinating that as the masses are catching on to what kayfabe is and how politics are the same, they're exactly the same, and they're drawing from the same Plato book. They're drawing on the same Plato book, and the fact that he was a wrestler, this is just rewarding me so greatly because I myself had a short career as a padded assailant, and I actually used to train people in extreme self-defense scenarios
Okay.
where they would come out to a very remote location in the mountains, not far from South Park, Colorado, and they would learn self-defense on a progressive scale, starting with just verbal confrontation. And then we move into physical confrontation, and we increase that significantly over 2 days. And on the third days, we go into firearms training and firearms self-defense. And so it is a hardcore weekend of adrenaline. And I was training to be the guy in the suit getting shot all the time, picking fights with everybody all the time, trying to play the hard ass and bring out the shadow and embody people's fear. That was my job, was to become what I believe you fear the most. And then I would get people out on the pads, and I would actually embody different scenarios designed to get them to actually have an adrenal response, so they don't think like, oh, that's a good thing we got these pads on. And I would cheat my ass off to get them to really adrenalize, so they can train and rewire their self-defense, their self-preservation instinct. That was my job. So I was like Mr. Kayfabe in the suit for
So
years.
I see how you relate that and you connect with that. That's
Right. And so I also studied sleight of hand in high school. So like I'm looking at this, all the spectacle of it. And I'm just marveling at how this was the thing of children for me when I was young. And my parents take it so seriously. I got family members who want to leave the country because the kayfabe on the political arena is too much for them to handle. And I'm just
really,
I'm just screaming out that this is just show business, y'all. It's just show business.
that's right. That's
Don't
exactly.
don't be taking this personal, and don't take it to your Thanksgiving dinner, and don't be talking about Mike Tyson shoulda, woulda, coulda at your Thanksgiving dinner, because all your elders are going to get their feathers ruffled. And one more thing, in Plato's Republic, there's a great amount of focus on the inheritance in the family. The inheritance in the family.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot to learn about the inheritance in the family and the acrimony around passing down the heirlooms and the traditions and the culture and the music that your family built your essence out of. And so there is both the inheritance, but there's also the formula for retirement that the state, I'm cutting corners for the sake of presentation.
Mhm.
that the state takes the placenta hostage when you're born. They hold it on file as a voodoo doll, and they literally poke it with pins, and they summon you into court with your placental identity that is your state issued ID. And if you act right, if you behave according to the script, if you don't break character,
Mhm.
then you get your retirement. And the retirement is the purple garment of the Christ. And it's purple because it has the word tire in it. The tire purple dye of the Murex seashell is your retirement. And so they will put this garment of honor, the honorifics of your culture on you if you make it to the finish line, and maybe you can climb up onto the hill and offer yourself up as a sacrifice to be commemorated favorably as a savior of the family.
That is wild. That goes so deep. That's crazy. Guys, listen. The how spirit talks to us, it's very unique in so many ways. This is why it is so important to listen to spirit, because if you take anything away from tonight's show, let it be that everyone's perspective is extremely unique, and it takes a person with a true open heart to see it just without any judgment, and being very open-minded, because the work that I do, the work that Gabe does, it's very spiritually, divinely given to us, and we take this, and it's like, just as you see, Gabe it's like a project. This is baby, and I love it because it's so very, it shows the type of mind that one has. It's very open to see so many different perspectives, and then just see the way it meshes still all together. And I think we all have something to offer to each other, and even if it's just like, like listening and understanding, and then be like, yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And to see the way the downloads just come in with myself and with Gabe, because there's a lot of times, just as we've seen it here, you see how he reacts and I react like, oh my gosh, it's wonderful, because and this is the purpose why we come together, is to build, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this space and this energy that we've shared today. Gabe, Amy, oh my goodness, thank you for all of that. Oh, listen, and by the way, just really quickly, when you were talking about Mike Tyson, and right before we came on the live, somehow the news came across of when they weighed him in, when Mike weighed him in, when they weighed Mike in.
Yeah.
He came out in a Versace thong. I don't know if you saw the picture of it. Only in a Versace thong. Okay. So he's weighing out, and then he grabs his stuff, because that's, guys do. Not all guys, but, I expected him to do that. But then I was like, wait a minute. Versace. So as you're talking, I was looked up Versace. Versace number is 884. And that reduces to the number 74, which reduces to the number 9. No, sorry. 11.
11.
Reduces to 11. Yes, my bad.
Right.
My bad. Yes, it reduces to the number 11.
Right. And 74 was the wolfram, the tungsten, the one half of the odds. The other odds was 47 is silver. And
So you see how that works.
Totally. One more thread here. Mike Tyson is the cannibal. He's the can ear nibble.
That's funny.
Right. And Chumpster got the ear castrated anointing. Versace has a powerful weave around Medusa. They did a publicity stunt a long time ago where one of the Versace owners.
Oh my gosh, the emblem. They have Medusa as their emblem. I just
Yes,
thank you. And we were talking about Medusa. We were just talking. Listen, this is not a coincidence, guys.
yes,
Wow,
yes,
but go ahead. Oh my gosh, please continue.
totally. And during the Chump ear castrated event, it was the Perseid meteor showers going off when Chump got the cap in the ear, this ear squib anointing. Um, Perseid was going off, and that is where Medusa is. So for him to come out, for the ear castrating Mike Tyson who eats the ear to wear Versace, you can look into the Versace murder mystery, but somebody's head ended up in a bag or something.
Yes,
Something,
that's right. Oh my God.
yeah, that totally happened. And so they're just they're passing the relay torch of associations from the heavens. It really synchromistically potent timescales uh, for the stage. There's almost no stage prop ever that is not a constellation because there are 88 constellations. I bet there's not a single stage prop that has ever been in the theater that is not correspondent to constellation, the 88 constellations of the heavens. And I highly recommend the IAU list because when I ran through the ranking of constellations by size,
Uh-huh.
their numerical rank was buzzing on all the sacred numbers. 77 is the Musca constellation, and I think has a great potency to the muses. The muses are like gadflies or thoughts that sting you, those thoughts that are buzzing, that are
Yes,
bugging you. The Musca constellation is number 77. They couldn't have given it a more powerful rank in the IAU. So this is a standard. The IAU units are a standard that I adhere to because it rewards my synchromystic usefulness. And, a lot of people know about the meaning crisis. And when they say meaning crisis, that's Twilight speak for a lot of people feel useless nowadays because meaning and use are actually synonymous in economics, you could say. So the synchromistic worldview is giving people meaning that they never thought they would ever have access to. And in fact, I think, if I were to shine bright in particularly some of my family circles, it would be too bright for them to handle. And their envy would get ugly. Their envy would get ugly. And so as we move into the meaning Christless, and the fact that so many people are uh, feeling uh, unappreciated. I think that the synchromistic lifestyle is bringing an infinite supply of value to people's lives.
that is. Listen, I can't even. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I got so much energy
I
into my
overloaded.
brain and my mind. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday because if it was Wednesday, I would have to, and then I gotta go to work the next day. I would be a mess tomorrow. Oh my goodness, Gabe! Like it's been so powerful today or tonight rather. It's been so powerful.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for letting me empty my vat.
yes, and then having it mesh with my synchronicities, guys, and I was never and Gabe also like I say I share these synchronicities with you of the Enneagram and things that we were talking about. And by no means, guys, am I ever trying to discredit or take away from anything that Gabe does and his work. Everything that we do here is of total respect. And I think we mutually feel that way. This is the first time that we've done a show together, and I think it kind of, probably took a little too long, to like cross our energies. It's
Yes.
just wild. It's just wild. But Gabe, any final thoughts that you might have
Yes.
before?
Yes. One thing I'm really excited to just get on the record here between us is when I moved into the Enneagram, I had to take a questionnaire. And the questionnaire was like, do you think first? Do you act first? Or do you have emotions first? Are you a feel, think, act? And you answer that, and then you answer a few more questions, and you're backing yourself through the questionnaire into a position on the Enneagram. And that's how I did it, and it worked. Yeah, I feel confident about my orientation on here. But then somebody presented a question. They asked if I had looked into life path numbers. And I was like, no, not really. And then he asked me for my birth date and just reduced it to one number, reducing the birthday down to one number, and then told me that my life path number, it lands exactly where the questionnaire got me. But then he turns around and he does the questionnaire because he's into life path numbers, and it gets him the same result that he got from his life path. And so,
Really?
yes, and so I love when two systems seem to be harmonizing to some kind of truth. You can come at them with a musician's lens, or you can come at them with a sculptor's lens, but you're going to get the same results. And somehow I have found other people say the same thing. If you do the questionnaire, you seem to back into your birth date reduced to a single digit. Is that I mean, I know there's other exceptions, but does that seem to resonate, that like the one life path resonates to the Enneagram personality, and likewise through the other numbers, minus the 22s and the 33s and the 11s of life path?
Right, exactly. Well, I'll tell you one thing, because that was the first thing that I got into when I was looking at it. Just a few more minutes, guys. Just a few more minutes.
Yeah. I just want to
So
clear this up.
I am going to say, even though I have not looked into it, because I have to, I have to make a list here of what all of the numbers 1 through 9 on the Enneagram mean, right? The 1 is reformer, 2 supporter, so forth and so on. I'm gonna say yes. You know why? Because I'm a life path. What life path are you, by the way?
Generally a 1.
Oh, that's
I-
amazing. That's amazing.
I'm a recovering 2.
That's a recovery too. So I'm gonna say yes. Why? Because the number 8, according to the Enneagram chart, it's protector / challenger. Am I right?
Yep.
That's me.
Wow. I love this.
Yeah, it's family is future. My family is my children, my home, and that's the position that I've taken. And everything that I've done in life, I've always challenged it. Like, what they teach me in school, what they taught me in Catholic school, I was like, no, I don't believe that. I don't vibe with that. And I was always like kind of like the black sheep everywhere I went. Because I always challenged things, and I was like, no. And then of course I'm an air sign, so I'm always gonna debate and talk and this and that, and and communicate. And so I'm gonna say yes without even doing the rest of the work, but just alone with my number alone, absolutely. By the way, which tarot card did you put on number 8? Do you resonate? Which card is on number 8?
It's the Justice card, or
Really?
which he switched into the Adjustment card. And yes, yeah, without going way off on, number 8 is the Adjustment card.
Oh, wow. Okay, nice.
And I
Very,
totally
very.
And I totally see a lot of 8 in your energies. This is really gratifying to see that it seems to work both ways. That is really neat.
It
Uh,
is
so
really
so
cool.
so theoretically, and I'm gonna proliferate this until it's proven otherwise to me. But
Mhm.
theoretically, our buddy Dr. K, he does the every day. He's keeping track of the number of the day. But
Mhm.
and I believe I'm starting to believe it, that every day, every child born that day, their life path number is the same as the other babies born that day. And so
Mhm.
that means that the planet seems, or whatever, the realm seems to be going through the Enneagram, producing personality types all on the same day to some degree, that they
To
harmonize.
some degree, right, right. Mhm.
Yes. And that's just really something potent to keep in your pocket, folks, that uh, that the Enneagram and the life path harmonize so well. And but the weird kind of thing is, like, I think we get caught, it's the ultimate reduction to say that it's a number. But there's these numbers seem to have legitimate soul. They seem to express their essence in a way. And we likewise seem to be expressing a common essence with the other people born on the same day as us. And that is, yeah, that's a big picture to digest. And I just, maybe we can end on that the life path and the Enneagram, they harmonize beautifully. And that's really, that's a lot to, that's a lot of reward. That's a lot of meaning in
Mhm.
the age of uselessness. That's a lot to go by.
Absolutely. And it's frequency. Like I said, frequency doesn't lie. And it'll always frequency will always match its energy, you know? So it comes together very, very beautifully, very beautifully. And you explained it what you show, you explained it in such an amazing way for everyone to easily understand. And that's wonderful, because something that is just so rich and very deep, sometimes it's very hard to be able to convey it to other people, but I think you do it just beautifully, Gabriel. You really, really do. um Guys, thank you so much for coming tonight. It was amazing. I was so excited to get you on. And I have to say, I have to say, I remember being on, I think it was, well, of course, it was on the round table. And just seeing the way you interact, you speak, you express yourself and stuff like that. I remember one time I told you on the show that I don't know what it is, but for some reason I see like a green aura around you, right? And I remember that when I lived in Puerto Rico, I had a madrina, or she was a medium, right? An older lady, much older. She remind me of my grandmother. I love her. And she scrimes into water, you
Wow.
know? And then she tells me, and she's on point. When I tell you on point, on point. So she's the one that told me, she said, you have several people that I look over you, right? So one was my grandmother, which I absolutely love. Mi abuela Esther, is her name.
Wow.
And she goes, y tú tienes un santo también que te cuida a ti. She says, you have a saint that looks over you. And she said, es San Gabriel.
Give thanks.
Yeah, she said it's San Gabriel. And that aura, always, that green aura, always somehow always followed me, because he portrays a green aura.
Yes, he
Wherever you
does.
see him portrayed on pictures, and I don't know why I said, and I just said that day on that show, and without even realizing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, but then at the same time, that's the heart chakra, you know. And I went to a Reiki, a master, not too long ago, and she read all of my energy. She goes, because she, with a pendulum, she went down on all of my, right, and I had my eyes closed. I don't know what she's doing. So then I had my eyes closed, and all of a sudden I felt a shock go up through like this crazy ass vein that you have right
Mhm.
up here. I don't know what it was. I said, what did she do to me? So when she finished reading my energy, she's like, listen, you're pretty much aligned. She goes, but your heart chakra is very, very strong. And she goes, when she read it, that's the energy that I felt shot up into my ear. And it was just wild. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that because I remember that connection between you and I a long time ago, and I think it was just wonderful. But I just wanted to express my deepest gratitude for doing the show, sharing your energy, sharing your work with us. It was amazing. Your presence definitely and energy brought so much to the conversation. I loved it, and thank you so much for your willingness to share your wisdom and your light here on the show, guys. Um, as always, guys, please uh, like, share. Thank you so much for coming through. We are sending out so much love to you, and with so much appreciation and gratitude to everyone. I send out so much love to you, Gabe, to Lara, to your daughter, sending much love of energy, love, protection, success, joy during this time, and to everyone that's out there. And as always, guys, I always ask the Most High to put a ring of protection around our children, to protect them whether we are near or far. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I love y'all so much, Gabe. Un montón de gracias. Un millón de gracias. Thank you so much for coming through, Gabe.
Muchas gracias, Moonfeather. Thank you so kindly. Big love and respect, everybody.
You're very welcome. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy. Remember, make a wish. We got mad meteors coming through the whole weekend until the 18th. Take care, guys. I love y'all. Okay, bye.